What's the crack, lads? Daruch here, and today I'm going to talk about which assault rifles I think are the best for a beginner. If you're just after starting playing, you're brand new to it, or you've just got the free version of Warzone, it doesn't matter. I think these guns will be the best ones for you, and I'll tell you which one I think is the best overall. So I'm going to first go through the guns. I've picked out 4 guns today that I think suit beginners. So the Kilo, first one on the list. You buy the game, this gun's unlocked. Kilo's a great gun. It's great at range. It's easy to control recoil. It's got good damage. You kind of can't go wrong with the Kilo. It's the preferred choice for a lot of pros at the moment as well. But despite that, it actually does suit a beginner quite well. Plus, it's the first assault rifle on the list. So while you're playing the game and unlocking stuff, you'll find it very easy to upgrade this gun. You level up the gun much quicker than the other guns because you've already got it unlocked. So if you don't have base multiplayer, this could be a good choice for you as well. The FAL is a single shot fire gun. It takes a bit more practice to get used to it. I don't recommend it at all for beginners, even though it is powerful. You see people using it nearly like an SMG because it hits quite hard, but it's not on my list today. M4A1 is. The M4A1 is kind of like a jack of all trades gun. It's good rate of fire, good up close, good at range. It's harder to control recoil wise at range, but not impossible. It's a really good choice here. If you're looking for an all-round gun, this is a really good option. The FR is a burst assault rifle. Again, I don't recommend it. It's not very good in Warzone. It's not meta at all. 3-round burst, delay between shots, so you have to be on point when that burst shoots. Odin, big, heavy, slow rate of fire, heavy hitting. If you can hit your shots, you'll do a lot of damage, but you have to be on point again. I don't recommend it. M13, great gun. Fastest rate of fire for an assault rifle. More similar to an SMG rate of fire, to be honest. Very easy to control recoil. If you set this up, you can laser people at range. It doesn't hit that hard. The bullets don't hit as hard as the other guns on this list, but if you're going to miss shots, this is a great gun. You're less likely to miss them because the recoil is so good and also the rate of fire is so fast that it's very forgiving. FN Scar, slow rate of fire, heavy hitting, very bad recoil. Don't recommend it. AK-47, it's like the Scar but worse. The recoil is really bad in the AK-47. Don't recommend it for beginners at all. Ram 7, I leave this one off the list, but it is, a lot of people do like it. Seems to be a good close to mid-range gun. I don't like it. Just doesn't suit me. I think the other guns that I've chosen are better for the list. Grau is a great option. I'm going to put it on the list because it's so good, but it's hard to unlock. I didn't need to unlock it. I think I got it through the battle pass. So you have to get 5 kills in 1 minute, 25 times this gun with an assault rifle to unlock this gun. If you don't have base multiplayer, you're going to struggle really hard to unlock this in Warzone. So that could be a real turn off, and also it may just be impossible for a beginner to unlock the Grau in Warzone. But other than that, good rate of fire, really good at range, good, easy to handle recoil, and the iron sights are beautiful on this. So if you don't want to put a scope on, you don't need to put a red dot sight on this. You can just use the iron sights. AMAX, very heavy hitting, good rate of fire. It's a bit jumpier than these other guns. I don't really recommend for beginners, but it is a good gun. I'm not going to put it on the list. And the AN94 I don't recommend at all. It's kind of got a 2-3 shot burst at the start. After that, the recoil gets really bad. Don't recommend it. So that's my list: Kilo, M4A1, M13, and Grau. Now I'll just really quickly go into a class setup example with these guns. So, for example, if you've got the Kilo, I put the monolithic suppressor. This is if you're using the gun at long range, like mid to long range in Warzone. If you've got a shotgun or an SMG as your secondary, I'd set it up like this. This is how I use it. Monolithic suppressor, keep you off the radar. It boosts the range. Barrel, put the longest barrel on. This will be the same with all these guns. Longest barrel, so on the Kilo, it'll be Singard arms. Optic, I've been using the VLK 3x optic. A lot of people do. It's very popular in Warzone. The ammunition, 50 round mags I would use in solos and duos. If you're going trios or quads, I'd put 60 round on. It'll just aim down sights a little bit slower. The movement speed will be a little bit slower. So 60 round mags, say. Underbarrel, really this is a personal preference. The Commando foregrip, tactical foregrip will stop with left and right bounce with the recoil if you're shooting. And the Merc Operator Ranger will stop the vertical recoil. So whichever way you're struggling, I would choose a foregrip that suits your needs. These are all relatively accurate guns, so I put the Commando foregrip on all of these. That means you just have to deal with vertical recoil, really. You just hold down on your analog stick It takes a bit of getting used to, obviously, but I would choose this. If you're really struggling with the vertical, I'd swap over to a Merc foregrip, or if you're using this as an up close, go in and put the Merc foregrip on, and it'll tighten up the hip fire spread, but that's another story. And so that's how I will set up my kilo, and it'll be the same for the other guns. Longest barrel, mono, lithic suppressor, commando foregrip, 60 round mags, VLK optic. Right, so here we'll have a look at the recoil patterns of these guns, see how they handle, and also I just picked the base guns to start us off, so you can have a quick look at the iron sights. They're fine iron sights. I don't really like them. I prefer an open iron sight, but anyway, here we go. This is the kilo. So this shoots, I'll shoot 30 rounds with this. It shoots up and then off to the left. Relatively short spread, not too much jumps between shots. That's quite an easy recoil pattern to control. M4A1, nicer iron sights for sure. I'd much prefer this over the kilo. Still, I'd prefer that without the ring, but what can you do? So here we have the M4A1's recoil. This is 30 rounds. Straight up and then off to the right. Not too big a jump between shots. A much greater magnitude vertically, but still not terrible. So here we have the M13's iron sights. Again, I don't like them. I think these are quite bad. The sides of it take up a lot of your visual space. And then the recoil pattern should be straight up and to the right. Much less magnitude than the M4A1. Much tighter, less jump between shots. It's a very easy to control recoil. And then last but not least, we have the Grau. So this is the Grau's iron sights, which isn't spectacular, but this is the standard barrel, and the Grau changes drastically when you change the barrel. I'll show that in a minute. But here's the standard recoil plot of a Grau. Pretty much straight up. It kicked off a little bit to the left there. Jump between shots aren't mental. It's fine. Very easy to control recoil pattern. One of the better ones here. Probably the M13 is the best though. And now this is just an example of the iron sights when you put on the longest barrel on the Grau. It's taken that ring off it. You just put the middle pin on the trident right where you want to shoot, and it's very open, very clear. You can shoot quite long range with this easily. It's one of the few guns in the game I'm happy to shoot distance with iron sights. I won't show you the recoil plot because the longer barrel affects the recoil, so it wouldn't be fair to the other guns, but very, very nice iron sights. And now we'll have a look at the recoil patterns on the maxed out guns. So this is a kilo with all of the long range attachments I would have on it. Gonna shoot 30 rounds. So as you can see, when you max out these guns, significantly better recoil. That's very tight. Pulls off to the left a little. Very little jump between shots. It's a very, very easy to control gun, even at range. We get the M4A1 here. Now, much greater magnitude, pulls straight up off the bat, then curls off to the right. This takes a bit of getting used to. And you can see there's a jump between those two shots as well. There's quite the jump between those two shots. So, much harder to control. It's not terrible. I just find if someone's past maybe 60 meters, I'm going to be missing shots here that I shouldn't be. And right now here we got the M13 and its recoil pattern. So, similar to the M4A1, up and off to the right, but much less magnitude. It's not an up and then across. It's more like a curve. It's more predictable. It looks like it's much worse than the kilo, but in fact, I find this much easier to control than the kilo. And last but not least, here's the Grau. So, it's got kind of the same vertical magnitude as the M4A1, but it's just straight up, basically. Very easy to control. This is quite a good gun to use at range. You'll miss more shots than you will with the M13, but that's it. You just hold down on the analog stick and that gun is going to be very easy to control the recoil. And just another thing while we're at it, I'll show here, this is what the fire rate is like on the Grau. 60 rounds in your mag, you're fighting someone far away. Or this is how quickly you get through a full mag. Quickly you go through a mag on the M13. It's just that bit faster. The fire rate is much faster on the M13. Here we have a look at the range drop-offs. This is obviously quite important in Warzone. You see the kilo, the M4A1, the Grau have quite similar stats. 28 base. This is chest, by the way. This is shot damage to the chest. So the First drop off, 28. Then the Kilo has a little bit of an advantage here, 23 at the first drop off, 22 for the M4A1 and Grau. And then 18, 18, 18 for the last drop off for the Kilo M4A1 to Grau. And you'll see the M13 kind of falls a bit flat here, 24 compared to the 28 of the other guns, and it only has one drop off, and that's 19. So if you're fighting someone between around 50 meters and say 80 meters, you're a lot better off with any of the other guns, the Kilo M4A1 and Grau. And that is a range you will be shooting at. And the funny thing is here, the M13, it's going to be much easier to hit your shots at that range as well. And then it technically has an advantage past 80 meters in that it's got 1% damage more than the other guns. And you will be fighting at that range. You will. I've killed people out as far as 200 meters with an AR mounted. So it's not unlikely that you'll be fighting that much further away. But this would be your standard like mid-long range fights would be 40 to 80 meters. So if you have a Kilo and you're hitting your shots in this range, it'll take about 11 shots to kill. But if you're in this range with an M13, it'll take 14 shots to kill, an extra 3 shots. Now, it's got a faster fire rate, and it's more accurate, so maybe you're more likely to hit those shots with the M13, and you weren't actually any worse off. But yeah, if you can hit your shots, the Kilo is going to feel like it downs people a lot faster. But the Kilo does have the advantage here. It's got that extra maybe 8, 9, 10 meters on the other guns in this second damage range, and it also hits for 1% more than the other two guns as well. So just to recap, before I tell you which gun I'd recommend most, you got the Kilo. It's the first gun on the list. It's the first gun you unlock. It's a really good choice. You can pick this gun up as a beginner, do well with it, and then when you get much better, you'll still be doing really well with it. I can't not recommend it for any reason. Good at range. It's not that good up close, I don't think. Yeah, but mid to long range, this thing is excellent. And that's my setup there if you want to copy that. The M4A1, like I said, this is a jack of all trades sort of gun. This is a very good gun. The M4A1 is a very good gun. You won't regret choosing it if you do run it. It struggles at range. I struggle to hit my shots at range. It's nothing compared to the other guns at 60, 70, 80 meters. You really want to be mounting this if you're going to be hitting to hit your shots. It's a jack of all trades. It's good up close, good at far range, good medium range, really good damage, good fire rate. But you have to also be a jack of all trades to excel with this gun. And for that reason, I'm not going to recommend it as the gun to use as a beginner. This gun excels at close to mid-range. You could take that scope off, put a red dot sight on it, and you'd have a much better time with it. So then I'll jump on to the Grau here. That's my Grau setup. I actually prefer this gun with its iron sights. So if you're trying to accompany a sniper rifle with an AR, I'll put iron sights on this and maybe swap out the underbarrel for a Merc foregrip so that it's better up close. It's really good at range. Good up close, the fire rate isn't crazy good, but very easy to control. The biggest downside to the Grau is trying to unlock it. If you haven't got this unlocked, I don't know that it's worth unlocking. If you've got base multiplayer, yeah, do. Maybe it'll be fun. 5 kills in a minute's easy enough. But if you've got Warzone, I don't know if it's worth the hassle. It's a very good gun though. And last but not least, the M13. This gun has good damage, not great. The bullets don't hit as hard, and as we saw, it's only got one range drop off and not two like the rest of them, so it's not going to hit as hard. Sometimes you're going to be feeling like it's a hit marker machine. You're just tagging people and not killing them. But if you're a beginner, it's got the fastest fire rate of the ARs. It's the easiest to control AR in the game. The recoil is very good, especially when it's set up like this. You will hit your shots at range. If someone's really far, if someone's 100 meters out, you're much more likely to hit your shots with this than a Kilo or an M4A1. So if you're missing shots, this is the gun to go with. And then the fire rate helps there as well, because if you miss a shot, there's another one going to come around much quicker. This is a great gun up close. You can swap a lot of things out here. You put the Merc foregrip on here. The problem is I don't like the iron sights on this, so I'll put a red dot sight on this. Merc foregrip will tighten up that hip fire spread. And then even if you really wanted to free up an attachment, you could knock off the muzzle, put the Tempest Cyclone barrel on, which has an integrated suppressor, keep you off the map, and then you could put a tack laser or a 5mm laser. I like to put a 5mm laser on this, take people on in a house. With the fast fire rate, this feels like an SMG up close now with all these attachments on it. Or you could swap that out for a skeleton stock. If I went back to when I first picked up this game and was given this gun, I would happily have used it the whole way through. I still use this gun now. I love it with a sniper rifle. I love it at long range. This is the best gun for a beginner, in my opinion. And you'll still see pros use it. Like Cloaksy, an excellent Warzone player, uses the M13. It's a very versatile gun. And if you're hitting your shots, the damage per second on this is 360 damage per second. The Grau is 364, the Kilo is 364. So they're all very close in damage per second. Now the M4A1 is 392 damage per second. So the M4A1 hits a lot harder because it's got such a good fire rate. But I can't recommend the M13 enough. I think everybody should give it a go. If you're missing your shots, this is the gun to go for. And it's also the best AR up close. So that's what I believe is the best AR in the game for a beginner. If you guys think there's a different gun, maybe I should have put the Ram 7 in there, let me know in the comments. If you learned anything here or you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. I think I've got 113 subscribers at the moment. So every subscriber counts here. And yeah, thanks for watching the video. I'll have a video on the AK-47 coming out soon, and I hope to see you there. Bye-bye now.